Alright, everybody, now we're going to do our intro for everything. So, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the super incredibly talented actor, director, producer, Mr. Rich Graff. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Fantastic. Before we get started, let me introduce you first to our outrageous Man About Town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell. He's like looking at me funny.
How you doing, buddy? Good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Good.
Love the show.
We're gonna have fun.
Then we've got
Absolutely.
Then we got the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy.
Mr. Graff, welcome to the show, sir.
Chad, always a pleasure.
And
Good to have you.
We have a chat room full of people, so say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hey guys, everyone in the chat room, thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And then we're going to do a special shout out because we've got Brenda Shiloh in the chat room, and I'm sure Doug is listening. So let's say hi to Brenda and Doug. What's up, Brenda and Doug?
Hey, Brenda and Doug. How's Chicago feeling? Well, actually, they live in the northern suburbs of Chicago. I forgot what town it was, but very nice. I was there. Very nice.
So where are you from in Queens?
I am from Howard Beach in Queens. I was originally born in Brooklyn. I grew up in Ridgewood, Queens, and then moved to Howard Beach when I was about 11 years old.
I love it. I hear it, and I love it. It makes me so happy. I have my Brooklyn accent. I never get rid of it. I lived in California for 100,000 years, and I started to say, pack the, whatever the hell I used to say, like whatever, terrible California accent. I said, I'm going back to New York, and I went to Brooklyn, and I hung out with all my old friends, and in 20 minutes, I got it back.
Oh my God! Now it's one of those things that I don't think it ever really goes away totally. I mean, you can disguise it and get linguistic classes, but it's always there.
Don't lose it. You look it.
I know.
Some people don't look Brooklyn. See, right now I'm old. When I was young, I had black hair. I looked like Tony Curtis. I was tough looking. I looked Brooklyn. And my mouth, I got a lot of roles. I played gangsters. I played the cops a lot. I don't know how they made me a cop, but I played a lot of like tough guys. Believe it or not.
No, I believe it.
Because of the look. I'm Italian, so I look like a mafioso. Don't lose the look. And everybody out in California sounds like faggots anyway. Oh, they sound like ferrymen, right? When they talk.
We can say that because we're a gay married couple.
We're gay.
Anybody can say it. It doesn't matter.
We look at television, and I say to Jimmy, I swear this one purses fall out of her mouth. I mean, she is such a queen. What is she doing on television, pretending to be straight?
Especially when we're watching the Hallmark Channel. It's like every guy on Hallmark.
I swear they get every friggin' queen they could find, and they make her look butch, and they throw her with some other broad. I mean, it's a joke. So
that's the worst channel ever.
all queens. They're all gay. I'm telling you. After they shoot, they all make out. No, really, it's terrible.
We like AMC. That's right. AMC,
thank you,
baby.
AMC making the mob. Definitely. Hopefully, there'll be a third season.
So now I know why you played Luciano. They couldn't get anybody. They couldn't get a because look what you look like. You're not a blue-eyed blonde.
No, well, he wasn't blue-eyed blonde, but I have blue eyes, and my hair is lighter than this usually, especially in the summer. But yeah.
No, but you of course makeup, hair. It's called movies, But when I was very, very, very young, if I'm not a liar, because I don't lie, I think, I'm not sure, should I say this, that my cousin Bertha's husband who went to jail was one of Luciano's people. And I'm not lying. I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, everybody from Brooklyn is connected or knows someone.
Listen, the Luciano family it is what the Gambino family used to be. Right. Okay, so when Luciano died, he handed it over to Carlo Gambino, and he named it after his own family.
Right.
Yep.
I have many, many dear, good, wonderful people from Mill Basin and from Brooklyn who I love and adore, who are accused of being mafia, and they're not. They're just Italian business people.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes that goes hand in hand, but whatever.
But anyway, I don't think listen.
Actually, he knows a lot about it. Not only did he play.
Well, at one point, we just now found out that Washington is more mafia than the mafia ever was mafia, and Washington is more corrupt than the mafia was ever corrupt. So the mafia technically was the better place to be than in Washington.
There's nothing more dangerous than a crook with a badge.
Absolutely. That's good saying.
And you know how many I have met in my life in Greenwich Village? Gay
Well,
bars back then, you couldn't be gay. They had a light on. A big bright light would come if the cops came in and you had to stop dancing with your boyfriend. And then they paid the cops off and the light went out and you continued dancing. Still exists
have you guys been to New York City lately?
all the time.
Okay, isn't it amazing? I mean, I can't imagine how it is for you to be able to go back and to see how different it is from when you grew up. I mean, now I would say walking around Greenwich Village, I mean, half the people are gay, but in the city,
No,
typically,
there's no more gay
it's
people.
almost 1 in 4 people are gay.
No,
And
there's
it's, it's a very common thing. Everybody, I mean, half of my friends are gay, lesbians, of course, but I can imagine how different it is for you
It was wonderful.
versus from when you were young
It was
have
wonderful. It was wonderful because Greenwich Village was all gay. There wasn't these straight people coming down to like now. Now they go down there to eat. I hate the Village. It's not the Village anymore. Now it's I don't know what it is. Disney World, but they come with kids, baby carrot. Not in my day. In my day, all the outrageous queens would get dressed in drag with high heels and walk the streets and carry on and laugh, and we had
You
a
have
ball.
to give him like some kind of a perspective of like when was your day?
Oh, my day was I started hanging out in Greenwich Village in 1959, 58 and 1959. I was 18 years old and I was gorgeous and I looked like Tony Curtis and I had every fairy following me for days. I mean, I would walk down the street, those fags would chase me up and down the block. It was terrible. Now I walk in the village, they help me across the street.
Oh my God.
They say, sir, could we sit you down on a bench for a little bit? The very same queens that used to chase me. But anyway, I had the best time of my life in Greenwich Village. The parties were fabulous. All actors, of course. I was an actor, still am. I mean, like actors like Paul Newman, hello, and Joanne Woodward were talking about hanging out in the village at somebody's apartment at a party.
It's still a great place. Listen, it's still a great place to go listen to some jazz. There's a bunch of great clubs around there, bars. It's still really.
You don't have Marlon Brando popping into a party with his lover at the time, Wally Cox, because Marlon Brando and Wally Cox were lovers, and that was a strange combination. If you know who Wally Cox is, and
Yes.
the village then was loaded with celebrities of today. It was a very, very important place to be in the entertainment field. Now it's no longer.
The whole city has become, as
Out of town.
you say, very commercial.
Yes.
Well, out of town, a lot of the bikes that they have parked there now, where
I hate
people are
that.
taking
What is
bikes.
with that?
And listen, I grew up in the city. I wouldn't even ride a bike with the taxis and the people who drive like they do in Manhattan. I don't know how they've kept the
What's
people
with
alive.
those bikes? What
Yeah, we don't even get that
I
bike
don't
thing.
even know
How do
what
you even
that's
pay for
about.
those bikes? Because like they're just sitting
Credit
there like
card,
you put a
card.
credit card.
They just listen. They're great to get around because obviously the city is manic when it comes to traffic. And I've lived both in Los Angeles and New York, and I can tell you nothing compares to the traffic in New York City because
but you have
everything is one lane, and if there's
I hate it. I hate
it's
driving in
horrible.
New York. I hate driving.
but-
We were there 2 days before Christmas, and we were like
Oh.
on Fifth Avenue, and to get out to come back because we're in Pennsylvania, it took us
Right.
like 3 hours just to
Yeah,
get to the
but
bridge.
I'm a New Yorker. I learned to drive in New York.
I hate it.
I cut
I'm
every.
from Florida.
I know how to cut in and out. I know how to scare them.
That's the whole thing.
When they're next to me, they want to inch in front of me. I say, "No, mother, you're not going to come in here because I'll break your
Right.
fucking car."
right.
And they look
You
at me.
have
They
to know
roll
how to
up their
drive in New
window.
York
They
City
get
to be able to
afraid.
do it. Yeah, definitely.
So do you live in the city now?
I live in New York City. Right now I'm on location. I'm filming. I can't really go into any detail of what I'm
No,
filming,
just tell us
but
where you live in New York. Don't give us the address, but where.
I do live in New York City, and I also have a residence in Los Angeles.
Right,
Oh,
but where do
cool.
you live in New York? Just give me the sides.
The Upper West Side,
Okay.
78th and Riverside.
Nice up there. I lived on 75th and 3rd for years. I loved it. It was
Nice.
fabulous. But
Okay,
anyway,
so-
now we're here in this awful.
We're going to Palm Springs
We're
soon.
moving back to Palm Springs. I live.
Are
in
you
there.
really?
Yeah.
I may be filming. I was filming there last year. I enjoyed it immensely. It's very, very gay,
Yes.
but the hiking is wonderful, and the restaurants there downtown are great too.
Well, it's all faggotized. You know, we know how to do it.
Hey, listen,
What do you think? We eat in shitty restaurants like the straight people do? We have
no,
some,
the restaurants are really good. Really
We
good.
have some French queen in there whipping up French food and making it gorgeous and delicious.
What's that place that has the Marilyn Monroe statue in the front? I forget the name of that
The
place.
Marilyn Monroe statue. I didn't have to.
Yeah, it has the endless mimosas, as I'm sure they all do there.
Right, right.
I don't know. I've never lived there. I've been there several
yeah.
times, but we're looking to go there now.
I lived there for 8 years and I loved it. And I came back I retired, went to Florida, made a mistake, met Jimmy. Now I'm back in the business. So we're going back to the coast because I have so many celebrity friends out there, the old bags, you know, like Arlene Dahl and people like that you don't even know. Movie stars of the great 40s and 50s, and I miss them so. I just lost my Debbie. I'm sick over it still. Debbie Reynolds.
Yes.
Oh my God, was she the best person in the world? Fun.
Yeah, I know that. I know that you used to work in the music business. One of my my managers is Todd Frank. I don't know. Did you know Barry Frank, the singer, the doo-wop singer?
Yes, I did. Barry.
Yeah,
Frank.
he used to sing with Sinatra and all. He
Yes.
he actually recently passed away.
He used to sing with Beryl Davis. Barry
Yes.
Frank.
Yes.
Beryl Davis
His son Todd, who works for Ron Delsner, all the big music people. He manages me, but Barry unfortunately recently passed away.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I
So,
can't place him, but I know. Yeah, I know all the old bags because we came up together. Like I said, what's her face? Joanne Woodward. I still do Facebook with her. She's really a cool lady. She got over him pretty well. She's together. I never thought she would. She adored him, and he adored her. They had a love affair that went beyond belief. And then some people said not true. They really didn't get along. They just lived common sense or common law, whatever, which is bullshit.
Right.
She loved Paul. Paul was a strange guy. Nice guy, but strange.
So let's go to you for a little bit now. First of all, because you have an unusual career, an unusual entry into the whole acting career, because like you're actually like a lawyer. You went to school and became a lawyer.
Correct.
And then you just wake up and say, I really want to act instead of doing this like law thing, and so I'm just going to become like this famous actor. And because like you've shot through the ranks incredibly fast.
Right. I've always wanted to do it, and I don't know if you read my bio, but I mean, literally, there was a calling from birth because my parents were approached to have me on the Gerber label, so I was a Gerber baby from.
Are you Jewish or Italian?
No, both my parents were born in Sicily, actually. So I'm first generation Sicilian American.
So you're not Italian, you're a Sicilian.
Yeah.
Because I'm Italian, and we don't accept Sicilians. Sicily is not Italy. No, that's not true. I'm only teasing you. Yeah, Siciliano, parli italiano.
Sì, veramente.
Oh, bene. Okay, listen. So, what's the film you're on?
Oh, wait. You can't tell. I want to go. Okay, so you, because like I know you. I have a lot of little questions for people who like want to be in acting and in the acting thing. Because one thing I noticed on your IMDb, you have some big credits, which I want to talk about some of the making of the mob stuff, because like that kind of like definitely puts you like on the map big time. But I noticed that you do several shorts, and you've done several shorts. And like I've always heard different things, from different people who are well-known actors. Some do them and some don't do them. And so I was kind of like thinking, like, what's the thinking behind? Because you've done several of them and you have them on your IMDb, and they're not like shitty shorts like other people do. But what's the thinking?
You never know what's going to be a shitty short, because look, I had this one documentary short film that I did called 1971.
Yes.
And, it was weird. I hadn't heard about it from
phone call coming in. Did
So-
you turn your
sorry, I'm
phone
getting
off?
like-
Hang on, you got to turn
No, it's
your
on his computer. It rings on his computer,
Oh.
same as mine.
because the phone
Yeah.
call came in.
No, it's okay. So as I was saying, you never know when you're going to get something good, because this film 1971 that I did, I hadn't heard anything about it for 3 years, and then suddenly I find out it's in the Tribeca Film Festival. It's all these, and you can still watch it on Netflix now. So it's not about really who's in the film, what the big name and what the big director is. If you put your best foot forward and you have talent and you take hold of the opportunity that's bestowed before you, that's all that matters. That's
There
what
you
you
go.
have to do.
That's what I want people
Yeah,
to
but do you
hear.
really believe that?
No, but it's not a believing. It's a
Because
foresight.
it's not real. Because if you can't get what's her face, the one I like, Jennifer, whatever.
Jennifer
If you can't get Jennifer Lawrence to do something for you, you don't have a hit. They bet on the name. It's always been that way, you know. Clark Gable pulled money. He was the king of Hollywood once, and so was Lana Turner. And they fell off the
But there's
pedestal.
different degrees
Wait
of
a minute.
success.
Yeah, but then they fell off the pedestal, and then other stars took over.
Of
So
course.
it's still we don't sell a film because of its quality. That's obvious. Today, we sell a film because of its name. Now that they're doing Batman again with what's his name?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. I don't know how well it's going to do because Ben Affleck's name doesn't pull like the other guy's name did.
Listen, Batman. I thought, you know, it's a funny story that you bring that film up. I have the same idea as you. I don't believe that, you know, a great film is purely based on whoever's in it and how much money they pull, because there have been so many great films that have been made that were so small, but they grew such a following. You can take, for instance, Point Break with Keanu Reeves and the gentleman
Patrick
I unfortunately forget. Yes, unfortunately, who passed away. Yes,
Patrick.
And you know, they weren't huge stars at that time, but that film grew such a cult following. You know, you can talk about a lot of different films.
But that was a while ago. Let's talk about films yesterday. If they don't blow up, if they don't have great, what is it I want? CGI, the film doesn't happen.
Ron doesn't like all the action films that just have action with no good story.
I don't like it either.
If I go to the movie, I want to see the star work, not the CGI work.
That's right. I always say that myself. I want to see the humanity and why.
Absolutely.
What am I watching this film for? What am I learning from the people in this film?
Absolutely.
And it's not just like watching it happen. And it's funny you bring up that Batman film. I was in Los Angeles for the Oscars last year, and I was at a party. And the director of JFK, I can't remember his name right now, Oliver Stone was there.
Right.
And you know, they brought up that Batman versus Superman film, and I happened to say, you know, it looks horrible. And of course, David, I'm not even going to say his name, the gentleman who edited the film, who also won the Academy Award for Born on the 4th of July with Oliver Stone, was the person who edited that film. And you know, he told me himself, he said, you know what, you're right. There is too much CGI in film today. It's overproduced. It's overproduced in terms of the visual effect rather than what we were talking about.
Absolutely.
Well, what's happened is
I like those movies. First of all, I have to say though, because I'm a superhero buff, and so like I like all that stuff. I was not a big fan of Batman versus Superman in general, but I like superhero films a lot.
What's happened today is people go out to dinner at the same table and they text message each other at that table. So people don't have any kind of attention spans anymore like in my day. In my day, we went to see a Betty Davis film. It was a wonderful film. It ran 2:10, and it would be interesting, and it was a story about someone's life and what they went through and how they got out of it. And it taught us. It taught us how to deal with life. And I've learned so much from those old films. Today's films, with everybody's short thinking, they have to explode it and shoot it. And I think it's teaching the young people the wrong message that guns are wonderful and blowing up. And what's that bullshit with Superman fighting Batman? I don't get the message. I mean, I love.
You know, it's all about the wow factor, and like you said, the lights and the smoking guns. And listen, if it was up to me, we'd be making, like you say, films about people, about real stories, not about things that can't exist.
We watch,
you know, great films encompass a topic that are so extraordinary, yet you can imagine that they could happen under extreme circumstances.
We actually watched Trumbo, because we didn't see Trumbo last year when it got all its awards and everything, but we watched it the other night. We rented it on Vudu off of our Roku.
Dalton Trumbo, the communist.
And it was a great, with Bryan Cranston, and it was a great film, which, by the way, I'm going to give you a plug, and we're going to talk about it in a second. If you guys go on Vudu now, or if you have a Roku and you go to any of the digital download sites or whatever, you can actually see My Dead Boyfriend, because it's out now, and it stars Heather Graham, Griffin Dunn, Gina Gershon, John Corbett, and Rich Graff. Yeah!
Yes.
And it looks like a lot of fun. You're the drummer in her band.
Yeah, the drummer in her band, in her flashback, and we're actually dating in her past as well. You know, I'm really happy how well the film is doing right now, because initially it had gotten really bad reviews from some of the big papers like the New York Times. It's actually, like a lot of good films who get bad reviews initially, it's doing great. And I have to thank Anthony Edwards, who was the director of this first film that he directed. I have to thank Momentum Pictures for putting me in the picture. And Heather Graham and John Corbett, Griffin Dunn, they're all great to work with. I've seen them.
Can I tell
Yeah,
you
I've seen
something?
them personally several times. Really nice people as well.
Can I
Professional.
tell you something? If the reviews are bad, I go see the film.
That's usually when I like it.
Because the films are good. When they say it's a bad review, I love the film and I say, what's wrong? The film was shot well, sound was good, the color was
Right.
good, the actors were good. What's wrong with the film? So the story was a little weak. Okay, but that's all right. But I wouldn't call it a bad film.
Right, right. No, it was great. I thought it was, filmed it, they flash back to the 80s, which is really in right now, and it's really
Right.
interesting to see the clothes and the way that
Right.
people act. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
They're
Right.
actually playing clips on the TV
Cool,
where you
cool.
can't see right now, but they're actually
Since
playing.
I'm
That's okay.
incapacitated and not able to go out because we're afraid I might
We
bang,
can rent it.
let's watch it tonight.
Yeah, we'll watch it. It looks like
Jimmy
a lot
and
of
I
fun.
eat
There
it-
he is.
We eat in the living room. We put the TV on. We eat at the coffee table, and we watch films of our friends and critique.
And
it,
I
of
actually
course.
I haven't met Heather. I haven't met Heather Graham yet, but I met Griffin Dunn. I think I was at an Elton John concert or something, and I met Griffin Dunn, and it's got a really good class. I love John Corbett. He's fantastic.
Oh,
You
he's
know John
really good.
Corbett,
Sex in the
Yeah.
City.
Sex in the City, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's fantastic. So everybody needs to definitely rent my Dead Boyfriend now. Let's let it do really, really well, and the better it does, the more
Okay,
help that might give you.
Jimmy did all the publicity crap. I'm gonna do.
No, I'm not done.
Oh, you're still gonna do more publicity?
Yes, we
I
gotta
wanna
talk
get,
about.
I want to get into his soul. I want to know this guy.
We have time to get into his soul. We have to. I want to talk about some of these because he's got some projects coming up, and I also want to.
But can't you do that after? Can't we get into his soul and find out what makes him tick? Why he's an actor? What drove him?
Okay, you can.
Let's
talk
do
about
that.
What is it all about?
All right, do that first, and we'll go
Yeah,
to me.
because I want people to know you before you do the bullshit. You know what I mean? The
Oh, somebody
publicity-
in the chat room wants to know what did you think about SUNY Potsdam, small upstate college?
See?
Oh,
That's the
wow.
stuff
Do you
they
have a
want.
name? Do you have a name of that person?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Ellen Nesbitt.
Ellen Nesbitt. I don't know that name, but yeah. Listen, I grew up, among other things, I was very into snowboarding. So I competed in college, and the college that brought me to a lot of the biggest mountains, Northeast. I've been all over Europe, out west, and I went to SUNY Potsdam, which is about a half an hour away from the Canadian border. Really, really great, but really cold. So
Okay, but
I enjoyed
that's
myself
not what
there.
I'm interested in. That's all fun. What I want to hear is where did you grow a pair of balls that you thought that you could be an actor and that you could get where you are now? And when you had rejection, which we all have in this stupid business, how did you react to that? When did you snap back and say, "Oh no, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be a success"? That's what we want to hear. We want to hear the guts. The guts.
Honestly, it's when you're a creative person, a really creative person, and not like a lot of these people who just kind of copy and mimic and try to look at the best angle that they
Who told you were a creative person? You woke up and
Nobody,
looked in the mirror?
nobody needed to tell me. I
knew.
grew up writing stories from when I was 7. I played 4 different instruments by ear by the time I was 9. I could act. I was always someone who was very, very creative and very, very independent. I was always the kid who, when the band in a wedding took a break for dinner, got up and started singing for everybody. I was always the kid who, when I came over, I said, "Okay, we're going to film a movie," but we had no equipment. It was always, it's in my blood, it's in my DNA. I can't explain it, honestly.
I understand because I'm the same way. I never understood why I had the balls to think that I could possibly, being a gay guy, go out and make movies and television and do the career that I had. I had a fabulous career for years on the stage as a stand-up comic. And I never understood why me, little Ronnie from Brooklyn, who the hell are you? You're nothing. And now look, you have your TV. I mean, it's amazing. And I agree with you. It's something instilled in the DNA, in the blood, or it's magic that comes from another world. I don't know what it is.
I think it's a lot of that. It's one of those things that, and it's not something that I chose to do. It was there already.
And it's you. It's you.
Yes,
and you can't live without it, because if you live without it, you're destroyed. You're a great see-through person.
Yep.
Now, one more question I want to ask you, and I'll give you over to Jimmy, which is problems me all the time. Many of my friends that I grew up with that I really loved and kept close are no longer my friends because they can't sort of deal with who I've become. It's envy, it's jealousy. How come you, not me? I could do it too. What's the big deal? Ronnie's not doing anything that nobody else could do, sort of mentality. How do you deal with that without looking like you've changed because you become the bad guy? He went
Sure.
Hollywood.
Sure. Listen, I've run into that in my mob show. I'm not going to name any names,
No,
but
no, no names.
no, they were one of the other actors who were up for my role, the lead role, and from the beginning, you can tell a little bit of jealousy. Why not me? Why you? Kind of thing.
Exactly.
But you have to not take that personally because it's some people are going to feel that way and they're going to let you know about it. Other people are going to do a roundabout way of kind of trying to sabotage you. You have to put, as I said earlier, no matter what it is, you have to put your best foot forward. You have to do everything you can to make the product exceptional. And if that means making somebody better that you really don't like or who doesn't really respect you, then so be it. But it's the product that comes first.
Well, that doesn't work. I was in a wedding party like 1,000 years ago, and these people came to New York and they were having a dinner, and they wanted everybody in the wedding party to attend. And I was 19 at the time when I was in the wedding party, and I went there. And if I tell you, if I went any more down to earth, I would have been eating soil. I mean, I made sure I dressed down and I wasn't theatrical. I was just plain old
Right.
Ronnie. I used my Brooklyn accent. And the feedback was, boy, did he change. He really thinks who he is. And I was very hurt by that because I was totally myself. I never get that way with people anyway. Even in
Right.
my regular, I'm a down to earth jerk. I mean, I'm an actor. I work in a factory. Like right now, what do you think? I'm in Palace? It's a factory. I got lights burning my eyes. You in front of me. I've got to get something out of you so people like it. It's not easy. So
Well,
they like you
it's funny.
already. You're good. You're good. You're a good guest.
I
I
bet
like
if you
you.
gave those same people a little taste of fame, they would be the ones who would be flamboyant and showing off and prima donnas because there are two types of people in our business. Yes, there are people who want to be
Autographs.
celebrities,
Want to sign
you know,
autographs.
right? And then there are people who want the creative process to play out, who don't always have to be the leading man or leading woman or the
Right.
heartthrob. And I don't. I honestly, I welcome roles that are different. That
And you
you
know
know,
what? It
so
shows in your work. If you're a
thank you.
grandstander, it'll show in your
Oh,
work. If you're down to
absolutely.
earth, it shows in your work. I told Jimmy I am so upset now that we're on the cellular phone. This show we're doing right now, people can watch it on their cellular phones. Do you know what
Right.
that does? It opens a door to look. People knew my voice. No one knew what I looked like because we were on radio for years. Now
Right.
everybody's going to know what I look like. I've just lost my
But you're
private.
gorgeous.
No, I don't give a shit about that. I'm 150.
You
What
guys
gives
are
a
both
fuck?
beautiful. Both
Thank
of
you.
you.
But now I'm going to be noticed wherever I go, and that I've just lost my privacy. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with it. Look, as you said, the Lucky Luciano character looks very different from me. When I'm in New York, especially, you get those kind of looks like I do know you from somewhere, but I can't quite put it. So, I mean, look, you can, as a person that's in the spotlight, and I am by no means someone that's a celebrity, I think, but if, I take it as a pleasure of people taking pleasure in my work, not just me.
Right,
Very good.
but you're not answering my question. I'm gonna come over there and bitch smack you. Listen, if you're walking down the street, say you're in a restaurant eating, and a bunch of
Uh-huh.
people walk over to you and they decide you're their best friend and they're going to talk to you for an hour while your food's
Right.
getting cold. How do you get rid of these people politely?
Oh, wow. That's
Like
happened
Barry
several times.
Manilow did.
If I'm hungry, then I'm going to tell them point blank, listen, I need to eat right now. I'll talk to you later.
But Barry
If I'm not
Manilow,
so hungry,
you,
maybe I'll accommodate.
You know what Barry Manilow? I was at a restaurant in Palm Springs. Barry and his lover were eating a table away from me, and a bunch of women went over and said, "Oh, Barry Manilow, we love you." He just kept eating and looking at his food. He ignored them completely. And
I
I
wouldn't do
thought
that.
that's wonderful because the
No, I
broads.
would never
Well,
do
listen,
that.
you don't go over to someone when they're eating and
Well,
interrupt them.
that's true.
What gives you the fucking right? Because you watch them in the movie? That
No,
means you own
that's
them?
true. You should wait till they're done eating.
Have a little
No, it's
respect.
true.
Have a
Listen,
little
people
respect.
need their personal space. It's true.
And it's only going to get worse as you're ascending the ladder.
Yeah, and if you love Barry that much, wait for him to finish eating, go outside, and as he's leaving the building, say, "Oh, Mr. Manilow, can I blow you or something?" I don't know. He might stop for that. No, he wouldn't.
So let's go. Okay, so now now my turn. I want to go back because I want to talk a little bit about. First of all, so the making of the mob. You've done 2 different series. You did the New York one and you did the Chicago one. You're the same person in both of them. The New York one was first, right?
Correct, yes.
And so how did you have to audition for that?
Yeah, I initially went in for Bugsy Siegel.
Okay.
And then I went in for a slew of other roles. I think in all I went in for 5 different characters. And in the 6th callback, they said, "Okay, Rich, we love you. The director loves you. We want you for the lead role. All you have to do now is come in, get dressed in a vintage suit. We're going to dye your hair black, put some brown contacts in your eyes. We'll send the photos over to the executives at AMC, and if they like it, you're in."
Oh, you look it already. Now listen.
Wait,
I 2 more questions.
I know, but no, you had your questions. It's my turn.
If I wasn't married to this fuck, I would divorce him.
No. Okay, so because this was like this was basically like a career-changing moment for you. I mean, this was like a really big deal. This is AMC.
Yeah.
This is like everybody watches it. I mean, the show had to have
Absolutely.
millions and millions of people. You're in the sequel to it, and it's opened up a lot of doors for you.
Absolutely. Listen, I have to thank Elliot and Marco, who were the executives at AMC who brought this together. Steve and David Entertainment, who they all put me on the lead role. I mean, they really did a great job of not only the costuming, but the script and everything. The way they put it together, they really. I mean, they built a big following. I don't think they foresaw how many people were going to become fans of the show, and it's become really big.
Yeah, it's like a cult show now.
Absolutely.
Which I love it. Okay, go ahead now. You can ask a question.
No, for spite, I'm not going to.
Okay, you don't have to.
Anyway, remember your mother? Remember when you were young, your mother would say that to you? Italian.
Yes, I
So your mother. Now for spite, I'm not going to talk to you.
That's right.
My mother used to say, all Italian mothers do that. I wish I could remember what I was going to ask you, but I do.
That's okay.
I sort of resented the fact. I auditioned for quite a few movies when I was very young, and they told me you're too ethnic looking. Back in the 50s and 60s, ethnicity didn't work. You had to be Tab Hunter, blonde, blue-eyed Americana, the football player. Here I was, Italian in every way. They typecast me always as a cop. What did I play? I played a priest one. I played all stupid, shitty roles. How do you feel about being typecast now as a mafioso?
I'm not typecast. I mean, if you look at the role that I did with Heather Graham, it was an 80s rocker dude.
Yeah,
so
you look totally different too.
And and as I said before, they put so much makeup on me for the Lucky Luciano role that if someone were to go onto my IMDb or look up a picture of me, it looks totally different.
Yeah,
looks totally different.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that Hollywood has gotten intelligent enough not to typecast anymore.
No, listen, it's not about Hollywood typecasting, because they're always going to, everybody has a type. The way a person is it's as the old saying says, art imitates life.
Right.
So people are going to see you for who you are. It's all about the public, really, because a lot of the big stars, they don't ever take any more of these TV shows that are running for more than a year or two, if you notice.
Right.
Because they don't want to be typecast. They want to do it for 1 year.
Well, that's why Jennifer Lawrence changes her hair color every movie. She's a redhead, right. She's a blonde, she's a brunette, because she doesn't want to be typecast.
We love Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, I mean, I think I go to see every one of her films. I mean, I'm so in love with her. She's a brilliant. What do you think about working with her? How could you stand it? If you had to kiss her and make out with her in the bed scene,
listen, I actually think she's a little bit, behind closed doors. I think she's a little wild like me. I think it would be great, actually.
Seriously,
I think she's.
If you had to do a naked love scene in bed with her, how would you handle that?
Well, I don't know how she would handle me, but I mean, I know how to handle her.
I mean,
that was a great answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gay. I can imagine what it's all about. That would be like me making a love scene with Mark Ruffalo in bed. I think that they would be very ashamed of what went on, and the cameras would go down. But it's difficult.
Okay, so
the other one is Angelina Jolie. How would you like to star with her?
I had a conversation with her on the set of Salt, and before I met her, I didn't think she was very attractive for some reason.
Are you kidding?
no, and I'm being dead honest. But when I met her in person, I could tell she's very pretty. She was very nice, very social. And of course, this was how many, 8 years ago or so?
It's a
She's
This
good
one.
is
movie, though.
7
That's a
years
good
ago.
film.
She's one of the most
Yeah.
beautiful women in the world.
Yeah, she was very, very pretty and very nice, very conversational, very down to earth.
Yes, I
Very
know her.
nice.
I know her well. She grew up in my house with my daughter. She's
Oh,
my
wow.
daughter's friend. Angie went to school with my daughter. They jumped off the bunk beds. John and I used to run around with the kids, and I watched Angie. She looked exactly. She came to Deirdre's birthday party when Deirdre was 4, and she looked exactly the same as she does now. So everything on her is real. I
Well,
keep saying.
the next time you talk to her, let her know
I
I
don't
say hello.
speak to her. The sad thing is, she went one way, I went another. There's no way to get through to her. She's so blocked and so protected. I ran into her in Beverly Hills in the drugstore when she was married to Billy Bob, and we had a lovely chat then. And she looked wonderful, and she was so
We
happy.
love her too.
I would love to get through to Angie. I will when I move back to the coast, but living here in
Right.
Pennsylvania with the farmers, it's not
Right.
easy. I don't think Angie's coming through this territory.
So first of all, I want to give you a compliment. First of all,
I
so
think you're terrific as a
so
guest, by the way.
we have
Thank you.
we have usually two guests a week, and we've been on the air for 6 years, so we've had hundreds of guests on the show, and I have to say that
good.
out of all the guests we've had on the show, and we've had Academy Award winners, Grammy winners, really
Even some of my old bags.
huge people, and never have I seen a press kit as well put together as yours.
Well,
and
thank you.
And I'm talking maybe we've had 600 guests, not including interviews that we do with other people on location.
We do red carpet. We do location interviews.
Yeah.
We interview.
So I've never seen such a well put together press kit. So number one, I guess we'll say congratulations, because I guess you were on the cover of the 5th anniversary issue of Millennium Magazine, New York, and you look fantastic
Wow,
on it.
good for you.
You know,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you. I have a new cover coming out for the spring cover of Indulge magazine.
There you
That'll
go.
be out in
Congratulations.
March.
And everybody
you.
talks about, even on Twitter, I got a million little messages about how, oh man, you got Rich Graff, he's so hot, he's so hot.
Oh,
Now we
boy.
have to get to the real question: are you married?
Yes. Well, that's I don't really discuss my personal life.
That's
I
not a
love.
personal question. Are you married?
No,
Yes
no.
or no? I'm not asking
He's
you.
got a daughter.
No, I'm not. I have a reason for this, my friend. I have a gorgeous daughter who was first runner-up in Miss America. She looks
Oh,
like
wow.
Michelle Pfeiffer. She's a green-eyed blonde, gorgeous, and she's very successful. She's one of the leading tabletop designers in New
And
York.
he has another daughter who's an actress who
And-
saw your picture, and she's like, oh my God, he is
He's
so
hot.
hot.
So I have 2 old maids that I gotta unload, and I'm looking for son-in-law, and that's why I'm asking if you're married. I don't give a shit about your private life. I just want to know: do I invite you over for lasagna and we talk
Of
about
course, of course, of course.
That's
Invite me
They're
over.
100% Italian. They love to. You can see my daughters on Facebook. They're quite.
I'll
They're pretty
have her tweet.
famous. They're pretty famous. And Leslie works with Michael O'Rom, so she's a big shot.
Anyway, okay, he got the
Anyway,
point.
they're beautiful girls. They're
Yes.
gorgeous girls.
Listen, I can come to Pennsylvania. Maybe the next time I'm in Palm Springs. But where are they located?
Here.
New York City.
Oh, okay. So, all right, yeah. Whenever they're available.
Now, how old are you? I got to know age.
You can look up on IMDb. He doesn't have to tell you.
You're not going to tell me your age? Are you over? Are you near 40, 35?
Somewhere, yes, in that range, 30 to
Because-
40 range, yeah.
Of course, my daughters are in that
Yes.
range.
Okay.
Good.
All right, so now let's go. We got that one out of the way. Let's go. So you got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. I know you did a bunch of other movies and stuff too, but I don't want to run out of time without promoting some of the new stuff coming up. So
That's okay.
you're an associate producer on a new sci-fi drama called Amaranth. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Amaranth. Actually, I'm happy to announce it on your show, actually, but my producer partner, Amy Soto, and I have just created Lucky Film Productions. That's going to be my new film production
Yay,
company.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And so we're co-producing a sci-fi film called Amaranth. It's based on kind of like an apocalyptic kind of save the world story at the end of the world. It's with a really great young director called Mark Shoemaker. We got a bunch of big people attached to it. I can't really discuss those in detail. And we're location scouting right now in the Mississippi area for that.
Are you looking for an older alien that's gay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then call me.
Actually, you had some. Are we not allowed to talk about the two people that you had in your press release attached to it, or no?
Yeah, you could talk about that. Yes.
I was just gonna say because like everybody will know. Like, well, I don't know if I saw it on IMDb or in your press release, but Johnny Messner and Ryan Carnes, and everybody knows them because Johnny Messner was in like one of those Anaconda movies and 4 Got 10,
Right.
and Ryan Carnes
Right.
is in Desperate Housewives and General Hospital and Doctor Who. So like they're like really like names that everybody knows.
Sure. Yeah, they're great. I'm really looking forward to working on this film because it's going to be really, really bringing back that kind of sci-fi film that is without all the CGI effects, as you were discussing before, and really bringing the humanity back to it.
I love it.
You're making a movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's called.
Absolutely.
You're making a fucking movie.
Then you got
That's
then you've got another one called Mr. Chicago.
Oh yeah, this is a real baby of mine that I'm really working from the ground up right now. We have a couple of people who are actually on your show, and it's about
Paul Sorvino.
Oh, I love Paul.
Paul Sorvino is interested in working on it. Michael Madsen is interested in working on it. It's about a guy, Gary, in Chicago, who was the right-hand man for Mayor Daley in the 60s and 70s and some of his constituents. And it really talks about the underbelly of corruption in the city of Chicago in that
playing
era.
the mayor? Paul?
No, I don't know if we have someone for the mayor yet, for
He
Mayor
would be
Daley.
great as the mayor.
But Paul wants to play the head mafia guy in Chicago at that time, which I can't really discuss into
Yeah,
detail.
no, but
Yeah,
I know
okay.
Paul. When you see Paul, tell him Lainey Kazan and Ron Russell send hi. And I'm so happy
will.
that when he dated Lainey Kazan, he loved her tits. They were the best tits he ever had. he said that on our show, by the way.
Do you know who
Really?
Do you know who Lainey Kazan is?
My good
I
friend
do not.
Lainey.
Lainey
You don't know
Kazan?
Lainey, Big Fat Greek Wedding?
She's the mom in my Big
Oh,
Fat Greek
yes,
Wedding.
okay.
And the fabulous
Yes,
jazz singer. She's a wonderful singer. Lainey's a
Yes.
doll. We
And then
love
you've
Lainey.
also the way we met, the way I met you actually is that you were the lead in Dead Exit, which was a comic, and we met on Twitter because I'm playing Johnny something. I forgot Johnny
Yes.
Handsome in the comic, and so you're working on that as a TV pilot with Doug Shiloh, which we want to give him a shout out again and say congratulations. And
Absolutely, yeah. In Rockford, Illinois, I just remember the name, Doug Shiloh. It's a really great graphic novel comic that we're turning into a TV show, and it talks about it's really kind of ideas that are real, things that really happen, but they're set to a kind of comic book kind of setting where you have these characters that are built into the story.
Yeah, I think
really
it's
interesting.
Comic books are coming back big. We have a couple of celebrities that are doing them.
Yeah, we have a lot of.
My wonderful, beautiful friend, such a famous woman. I forgot her name. Gorgeous, white, blonde. My God, she was devastating in the 70s. She was everybody's.
Oh, Sybil Danning.
Sybil Danning. Do you know Sybil?
I do.
I love Sybil. If you see her, kiss her for me. Sybil's one of my sweethearts. Anyway, Sybil Danning's got a comic book. My God. She's an astro woman or something, and it's phenomenal.
Let's go back though. You guys follow at Dead
Gorgeous
Exit.
comic
Follow
book.
at Dead Exit Comic on Twitter, and you can find out a little bit more as things progress. And the TV series stars Rich Graff.
It's not going yet.
Yes.
We have time.
We only got like a few minutes though. We have and it's
did
also got
an
Tony
hour?
Dennison and Roxy Saint, and it's going to be really cool. And eventually, I'm sure it's going to be a she said my name is Johnny Hollywood. That's what
See-
somehow I thought Johnny
See,
B. Hollywood.
when you're interesting, how fast time flies. Now listen up, signora, paisano.
Yes.
Okay.
Quando
Yes.
stai a Palm Springs, vieni a mia casa a mangiare qualche cosa. E cucini qualche
Absolutamente.
cosa.
Sì, sì.
What I said was, when we're in Palm Springs, come to my house. I'll cook you something.
Absolutely.
I'll cook
So
you
hold
a
on, we
good
have to.
Italian
I have to
meal.
give out his like little. Okay, so if you guys want to follow Rich Graff on Twitter, it's at Rich Graff, right? RichGraff.
Sometimes it depends on if it's Twitter or Instagram. Sometimes it's an underscore between Rich and Graff, but you can look up my name and see my face, my ugly mug, and you'll know who it is.
And you'll see him that it's there. Your ugly mug. Everybody's talking about how gorgeous you are,
Mm.
which is good. Way to go. You
No,
gotta,
he's
love
like
it.
he's like me. You know, when you're nice looking all your life. When I was a little boy, they used to say, "Boy, when he grows up, is he going to be a lady killer?" Did they make a mistake?
Yeah, with you they did, but not with him. So one other quick thing. Then you did a movie called 79 Parts that I wrote down. I actually wrote it down because it stars Eric Roberts and Sandra Bernhard. And
I love
in my head, like I think Eric Roberts is probably like one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. I think he's such a great actor, and he should be as big as everybody on the planet. He's so big.
And Sandra is so demented that you have to love her.
Right.
Have you ever met her yet? Have you ever met Sandra?
I did. Very, very nice.
You think my mouth is dirty?
Really? Worse?
Talk to Sandy for a couple of minutes.
No, and actually, I agree with you guys. I was a big fan of Eric's when I was a child, actually.
Best of the best.
Yeah, the best of the best.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It was a great film.
Roberts is great. He's a better
And I'm actually working on a new film with him. It's actually done. It's with him and Tom Sizemore. That should be up there with Nana, who's a very well-known Brazilian actress. And we have that film coming out soon as well.
You have a lot of stuff coming out.
Let us know when they come out.
He has like 15 projects on IMDb, but like I didn't know which ones were like really done or not done or whatever, so I didn't bring them up.
Contact us periodically and send us your trailer, and we'll run your trailer for you.
Absolutely. We want to promote everything you do because like I think you're like really cool.
Well,
and,
also, he's a paisano.
He's a paisano, but if you guys follow him on Twitter and stuff too, like it's actually him on Twitter. He doesn't have like people doing it, so you know when you get a response, it's actually from him. Let's make sure everybody supports everything that he's doing. So any of the Making of the Mobs, you guys watch them. Hopefully there'll be a series 3, and you can be seeing him there. We want to Rent My Dead Boyfriend. And watch that, directed by Anthony Edwards. Check out 79 Parts with Eric Roberts and Sandra Bernhard, and look for all the new stuff going on. And if you want to find out more of what he's been in, just go on IMDb. Everybody knows IMDb. There's an app for it on your phone. Type in Rich Graff. You can see all the stuff he's got coming up and all the stuff he's done because it's amazing.
When are you going to see Sandra?
No schedule yet, but I'll let you know.
Well, we may, because we're trying. I'm going to call her.
Oh, you know what? Too.
We're going to have her on the show, I think, because our good friend. What's her name? From the Huffington Post.
I know. That's why I was going to talk with him. She just. I actually talked about you. We have a friend who's an author, a New York Times best-selling author who writes for the Huffington Post. And I told her, her name's Eileen Shapiro, and I had her coming on the show. I told her you were coming on the show, and I thought that you would be a good interview for her.
Right.
For the Huffington Post, and so.
Good paper.
So if it's okay with you, which you can tell me later.
Absolutely.
I'm going to introduce. I'll send an email introduction to introduce you and let her do an interview for the Huffington Post.
And she just did a big interview with Sandra.
Yeah, she just did an interview with Sandra.
And she said that Sandra. So we're going to have Sandra on the show, but between my language and Sandra's language, I don't think people can take it. Sandra Bernhard either gives you a hard on or makes you vomit.
Listen, isn't that the beauty of internet radio that you can do whatever you want?
Absolutely.
Our show is a family show. I mean, our show is like I say,
you're a family affair.
Well, no, I tell people, make believe you're in Brooklyn in a kitchen and we're eating Entenmann's crumb cake with coffee and we're talking normal. This is what it's like, right?
All right, everybody. So we've only got like 30 seconds left. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please, everybody, follow at Rich Graff. On Twitter, it might be Rich_Graff. Either way, follow him. You'll see me
what was it before? Graffia?
No, that's it. Graff.
How could it be? It had to be Tagliato somewhere when you came from Sicily.
Maybe.
It had to be Graffio.
Could be that. Yeah.
It had to be I had a friend, Gloria Graffio. It had to be Graffio.
Anyway, we got to go.
Because
so
it
Rich,
has to end in a vowel, and Graff doesn't.
We want to say congratulations on all your past success. Good luck on everything that's coming out in the future. And anytime you got anything to promote, just let us know. We'll bring you back on the show. And anything you want retweeted, just tag me at the end of it, and I'll make sure it goes to everybody.
And everything you wish for this year will come true. And have a happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year, guys. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you, bud.
Bye-bye.
And our drummer was a total disaster.
Thank you! Good night.
So of course I had to date him. Because he wasn't just a bad drummer.
Hey, you looked really hot tonight.
He was a real firestorm of stimulating conversation.
Mary? Mary? Little Mary McCrawley?
Thanks for the compliment. Do I know you?
I'm Joey Lucas from Hoboken, New Jersey. I was your old neighbor. Friend of your parents? I come by and see the band and you and, You were awesome.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. I totally saw you, dude. I thought you were like a manager or something.
Oh, listen, wait a minute. Yes. That's my card if you ever want to, have dinner or catch up.
Sounds great. I'll call you tomorrow. I know a really nice place. It's on 1st and 3rd.
Okay, now?
Great. I mean, it looks nice, but I've never been actually in there.
Bye.
Blood on the streets must stop. And this cycles of revenge must end. We may be criminals, but that doesn't mean we're savages. We have to run our business like a business.
This mess. Look at this mess. What are you doing over there besides nothing, huh? Believable. Why don't you help your mother clean the house? Why? You got too much pot to smoke? Is that what it is? You hang out with your friends?
No.
Right?
No, it's not fair. It's not kids.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Go ahead. What? What is it that you do? Tell me.
More than
Well, what?
that.
I want to hear what you have to say. Tell me. What do you want to say? Tell me. I want to hear it. Yeah. Good job. That's real good. You freaking loser. That's your son. That's your son. What are you looking at? Who's taking my goddamn pens?
Right now, you're just a soldier. Another tapista with a gun, and you're tired of it.
Yeah.
Huh? There's safety in no one knowing who you are. Nobody targets a nobody.
You took risks. I mean, you still take risks.
Calculated risks. Smart ones. One where the odds work in my favor. You got balls. I'll give you that. You do this, there's no going back.
I know.
You already made up your mind. Why ask me?
Because I trust you.
Trust yourself. Because if you do this, you're on your own.